Sci-Fi. Hello and welcome to We Are Not Here to Please You with Raphael.
And as always, Artu.
And that is our episode number 12.
12, yes, indeed.
And again, we are still in double digits.
Ooh. It's gonna take a while until we are in triple digits, though, so it might make sense if we're not going to mention double digits every time until that point.
Fine, Mr. I'm too fine for mentioning that. No, but shall we get our contact information insert out of the way?
Well, let's insert just the tip. And our contact info is as follows. You can find us on Twitter at WANHTPY, and under that you can find us on iTunes as well.
And you find us as well on Stitcher under our complete name, We Are Not Here to Please You. And under the same name, we are as well on Facebook.
Yeah. And our email is wearenotheretoPleaseYou@gmail.com.
For any suggestions, ideas, submissions.
Yeah.
And all the previously mentioned things you can find on wearenotheretoPleaseYou.blogspot.fi, our headquarter, our watchtower. That was gentle, I barely noticed it.
Alright, so what do we have for people today?
Well, actually thought like that we properly introduce, now that we also finally have the soundbite for it,
yes,
our This Day in History bit that we wanted to do with something...
Well, let's do This Day in History.
If something notable happening or not, let's do it. This Day in History. Yeah, so I think quite nice soundbite right there.
Indeed. Now, what happened on the 27th of January?
Might there be some famous people born, stuff happening? Well, actually, I looked that stuff up and it was rather disappointing in events. I was just hoping that there are more something really interesting happened. But no, not really. But instead, I was positively surprised that some interesting people got at least born. In 756, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart got born.
All right.
I think a really important figure in history of music.
Definitely.
I mean, the Zauberflöte, what is in English the magic flute?
Yeah.
I mean, great things. So, and also you can buy from Austria and in Germany sweet that is called, when you literally translate it, Mozart balls.
Yeah.
Mozart Kugeln.
Yeah, I know.
Some pistachio in the middle and so quite yummy.
They are called Mozart's balls in Finnish as well.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to eat them two at a time.
Now that's a thing I've not known until now. So
you're balancing a bit from left to right.
Thank you for this image.
You're welcome.
You need to hold a cucumber as well.
That you have to balance on your forehead.
Right. It makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, and the second birthday is from Frank Miller in 1957.
Right.
I mean, we all know Frank Miller. I mean, even if you're not into comic books, if you just followed in the last 10 years, movies in general. I mean, Sin, great movie, cinematic, looked beautiful with the whole black and white and kind of tone in it. And, well, we all love him for one thing especially. Yeah, he wrote one of the best comic books in the Batman realm.
What do you know, Batman, in this podcast from that guy?
What a fucking huge surprise. No, but he wrote The Dark Knight Returns, what also then they later turned into an animated feature in a two-parter, really close to the comic book. Fucking great comic book. Just so much depth and darkness. It's basically about Bruce Wayne when he's a fucking grandpa almost.
Right.
And I mean, he also, besides of Batman, what we all fucking love, he worked
So
on
he's a grandfathery aged man, and it's titled The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight finds Viagra.
Come on, Bruce can always perform. He's the fucking Batman. He doesn't have problems like that.
Hey.
No, but also like things like his work kind of
Your Batman bromance is just slightly on the side of disturbing, but go on.
No, but he really inspired kind of other writers as well. Like for example, he inspired Alan Moore to write like The Killing Joke, one of the best comic books that I've ever read in my life. The Batman, The Killing Joke.
I can only say okay. Having not read this said comic.
It was just amazing. I showed you the whole
you
cover
showed
of
me
it,
quickly.
and it's just amazing. I think he worked also on a bunch of Daredevil comic books, and like he's just all over the place. He just basically influenced the whole lot of comic book writers because he took it just to a weird, dark, serious place where these characters are supposed to be, and inspired so many other writers.
Yeah.
I think he's just quite good. And I think he just worked on a other new Batman book, what I not yet came through, so I think it was like kind of The Dark Knight Strikes Again, and I somehow didn't came around to it.
Right.
Because I still try to read up the library, but there's so much Batman out there. I think I have like 800 comic books.
I think we've made this complaint already at some point on the show, but there is just too much entertainment to get through.
Yeah. I mean, I have like 800 comic books of Batman on my tablet. And there's TV shows, there's movies.
Yeah, and just...
There's porn. I mean...
Yes, Rule 34, people.
By the way, the XXX parody of the Batman porn... not that good. I didn't like the dialogue.
Which, as we all know, is the most important thing in adult entertainment.
Yeah, it is.
That's why we watch the films and read the magazines and everything. The fancy articles.
There comes the old people through. Magazines.
Yes, in ye olden days, there were these things called porno mags, which had still pictures of naked ladies in them.
And you usually find them somewhere in the forest, Forest. I already had so much porn on my mind. Forest. You find them in the forest, also called forest porn, as discussed previously.
Yes, as previously mentioned.
But I think that's enough for our segment for this day in history. We hope for next times for better ones.
Yeah, we hope.
Well, but I can tease you one thing. There might come in the next couple of weeks a really great birthday up. You will never guess whose birthday.
Yeah, I dare to even guess.
Yeah. So we leave it by that.
Yeah, let's not go there. Instead, let's finally.
The long announced topic from ages ago? Oh my goodness.
Let's finally talk a bit about fear.
So I can put my tablet on the table, lean back, and just listen.
Yeah, it's your time now to drink beer.
Okay,
And
you're the boss.
Listen to me talk on and on and on about very, very...
Let's be honest, you rarely get the chance to, like I just proven by cutting in the middle of your sentence.
Well, yes. Well, this is my moment to shine, I suppose. And
so make it count, no pressure, all the spotlight is on you.
Let's see how many minutes I can go before I get cut off.
Oh, wait, I look now on the timeline. Okay, start going. I have a reference point.
So, in case you haven't been listening to before, I've been mentioning this book a couple of times already, known as The Signs of Fear by Daniel Garner. And he's having real problems trying to keep his face straight and not open his stupid mouth.
How dare you, sir? That doesn't count as interrupting. That was defending.
But I have to preface this with, I think this is one of the best books I've ever read, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, he's one of the fancy people that has a whole lot of books in the shelf.
Yes, I'm one of those people that can read.
Fancy.
Yes, these upper class folk.
Look at me, I'm literate.
So what was that? A minute and a half?
No, it was actually something like 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Close enough. Anyway, this is basically a book about the psychology of risk perception. He's making a blowjobby face at me.
Of course I will.
Yes. Still, this is very accessible even to the layman, such as yourself.
What do you mean?
Using various examples and descriptions of different kinds of behavior that you...
Enlighten me, because you told me about it and it sounded more than interesting, so
Yeah,
educate me.
Yeah.
Then.
This book really shows how we calculate and perceive risks, everyday stuff, and often are really sucky about it. Covers different factors that influence errors in thinking that lead to irrational conclusions and needless worry. And like I believe I mentioned earlier already, was that the basic premise is that we're actually just cavemen in a modern world. The idea is that when the human brain developed, there was a call for the ability to make quick, often life or death judgments.
Not anymore so much these days.
Yeah, and still these hardwired instincts are what misguide us in our current environment. And I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from the book. It opens up with a rather vivid example that has to do with the World Trade Center, the 9/11 strikes.
Okay, that should not relate at all to the American audience, I guess.
Yes, no.
But this time, actually, you prepared way better as this last time when you just had a loose note in there that fell out and then you almost lost the page. This time he used actually post-it notes.
Yes, I have been making preparations for at least an hour and a half before recording.
And so, now you're going to make 9/11 entertaining.
Yes. Almost 3,000 people died. The end. No. That sucks.
That was rude.
Yeah, I must admit that this book is a bit on the macabre side at points, but still it makes very good points. So,
yeah.
So,
and if anybody don't notice that we take our jokes more that way anyhow,
yeah.
So you shouldn't be listening.
But anyway, people around the world obviously witnessed the 9/11 strikes on television on the day that it happened.
Yep.
And for a long time after that, the strike and its results were some of the most highly covered news items ever.
It was everywhere on each channel.
Yeah.
And the cops were nuts.
Yeah, and they had interviews of people who were in there and people who were related to people who died. Cats, goddammit.
Yeah, it was really the most covered from all possible angles.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, now let's go with, I'll read a short bit from the book itself. Almost 3,000 people died. Hundreds of thousands lost family and friends. It was an enormous crime. And yet the attacks of September 11 did not inflict personal loss on the overwhelming majority of Americans, much less the population of the world at large. On September 12, the rest of us had to go back to the daily routine of living. But things had changed. How could they not after what we had seen? Some of the changes were small, or at least they seemed trivial next to what had happened. People stopped flying, for one. When commercial air travel resumed several days after the attacks, the planes taking off were almost empty. And what actually
Big
happened?
shocker.
Yeah, what actually happened was people switched over to driving.
I'm not fucking surprised about that. If that just happened, technically, it's the safest moment to fly because stuff like that not really happens 2 days in a row. But just the fear in this moment, I would be like, hell no, airplane, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what? If I have to, I'd rather walk.
Yeah, and that's the way the brain works. And the actual results from this were, I'm going to read another bit. Politicians worried what the mass exodus of Americans from planes to cars would do to the airline industry, so a bailout was put together. But no one talked about the surge in car travel. Why would they? It was trivia. There were deadly threats to worry about. But what no politician mentioned is that air travel is safer than driving. Dramatically safer. So much so that the most dangerous part of a typical commercial flight is the drive to the airport.
Yeah, everybody knows that. It only sounds so much more dramatic if an airplane crashes because in this moment 200-300 people die at once.
Safety gap is so large, in fact, that planes would still be safer than cars even if the threat of terrorism were unimaginably worse than it actually is. An American professor calculated that even if terrorists were hijacking and crashing one passenger jet a week in the United States, a person who took one flight a month for a year would have only a 1 in 135,000 chance of being killed in a hijacking. Trivial risk compared to the annual 1 in 6,000 odds of being killed in a
It still would me rather take the car than the airplane. To be honest, I would be still like, I know these odds are technically high, but not high enough for me.
Yeah.
I personally would be still like, no way.
Yeah. And one of the issues here is that car accidents aren't really covered in the media.
Yes, he's a cat person.
You're gonna have to edit some of this.
Nah, fuck that.
But this is my show!
I told you to step it up.
Car accidents aren't really covered in the media because they are, like he says, trivial things that happen every day, and they are not massive. Yeah. It's only a few people at a time.
It only happens to be in the media if it's super horrendous crash that's just out of proportion.
Yeah. And in the end, it turns out that the shift from planes to cars in America lasted about a year. And after that, the traffic patterns returned to normal.
That's still long as I thought it would be.
But the end result from this switch, when you look at statistics, was that there were 1,595 more people dead than would normally have happened. So people died in car crashes over the year. That many more people. And it's almost 1/2 of the total death toll of the actual strike itself.
Okay.
So this, while gruesome, is, in my view, a very, very...
By the way to bring down the mood for a comedy podcast. Good job, well done.
We are not here to please you.
The depressing podcast, apparently.
We are here to depress you.
Yeah. It's like, bring up the book. You see funny examples like, hey, death, dying. We all gonna die. Doesn't matter if you walk, drive, or fly. You're gonna be dead by the end of the day. That's basically what you're telling me here.
Well, it's gonna get better.
You better, because that's fucking depressing.
Yeah, but that, like I said, is an example that you can't really bypass. It really tells you how you assess risk and go so very wrong. Just because you're working
and it
with...
doesn't even only pictures on Americans, that's just how the human race in general behaves. That was just an example from that area, but that's like you said it and I was right away like, I wouldn't take the plane.
Yeah. And this actually leads us to the next point. The book describes the human brain as a split of two different parts. There's the head, and there's the gut, and there's a cat making silly noises. The head would be the conscious, rational thought, when you're actually paying attention and thinking about things. And then there's the gut, the unconscious thought processes that operate usually outside the immediate awareness. Like when
that's what I use.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you go with day in, day out. And, well, you're not that exceptional because humans often exclusively use gut when perceiving and calculating risk. And it's very easily skewed by...
Well, we're talking about risk. If something flies towards you, are you going to think about it, or are you going to, I might get hit in the face, or like, fuck no, and jump out?
Well, that's just the kind of behavior that our brain is really, made for.
Yeah, some big
originally.
Animal that's going to kill me. Let's get the fuck away, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, the gut is easily swayed by these different kinds of rules of thumb that stem from our early ancestors. And some of these rules listed in the book, among others, are the rule of typical things, which basically means that assuming that there's a similarity in one aspect that carries over to another aspect, or judging the likelihood of an event's occurrence based on the occurrence of comparable or similar events. Just like, the plane crash. I've seen it happen, so it must happen again. Because it's something that the brain can easily remember or bring up.
I again started just not because I'm just listening, like...
Yeah. And,
I'm a fucking dumbass in this point. People are gonna hear me not. That's gonna be entertaining for them.
Just not louder.
Yeah, I should.
No, this book is really strewn with fantastic examples of all kinds of things. If you're even a bit interested in psychology, seriously, I recommend this because it's just so brilliant. But regarding the rule of typical things, there was this. You're purposely sabotaging my show, you fuckhead.
I would never. How dare you? So you catch me, damn it.
Book describes the rule of typical things using
I almost pissing myself from
a
laughing.
famous quiz from psychology from Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman.
Maybe more.
Yeah. It goes like this. Linda is a 31 years old, single, outspoken, and very bright. She majored in psychology. As a student, she was deeply concerned with issues of discrimination and social justice, and also participated in anti-nuclear demonstrations.
Fucking hippie.
How likely is it that Linda
ends up alone? Really high likely she's a hippie.
We have a list here, which might be a bit long to use in a show like this, but I'm going to read it.
Shorten it.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's actually...
Just pick few.
Yes, there's actually going to be a shortened version. But yeah, how likely is it that Linda is a teacher in elementary school?
Hi.
Works in a bookstore and takes yoga classes?
Hi.
Is active in the feminist movement?
Fuck yeah.
Is a psychiatric social worker?
Yeah, pretty much. And likes to hug trees.
Is a member of the League of Women Voters?
Yep.
Is a bank teller?
Not really.
Is an insurance salesperson?
Nope.
Is a bank teller and is active in the feminist movement.
That exists. Well, technically, yeah, because feminism is about empowering, getting equal chances, and like, yeah, I could see that though.
Right. And in the original quiz, these were asked to be rated from the most likely to the least likely.
Oh, I don't remember all of them, but my vote is tree hugger.
Yes. And Well, I'm not going to answer right away because this was actually stripped down later by these same guys. It was shortened to, is it more likely that Linda is A, bank teller, or B, a bank teller who is active in the feminist movement?
Well, that's a no-brainer. I mean, it's clearly the bank teller plus this additional information.
Yes. And that's where you got you wrong.
What?
Yes.
Hey, did you see the size of the gut? How can all that be wrong?
But you're
call
not
bullshit.
Again, you are like you people in general.
By the way, bullshit. No BS.
The overwhelming majority of people judge the latter to be more probable. Yet this cannot be true, since the probability of two things coinciding has to be less than one of its parts being true.
What?
But even when one is aware of the logic, it is extremely difficult to quiet one's intuition that Linda has to be an active feminist as well as a bank teller.
It can. Come on, it sounds like it.
Yes, I know, but you hang on to the feminist bit and disregard the bank teller bit when you think of the probability of things.
Actually, totally disregarded at all the bank teller thing.
Yeah. You latched on to the feminist bit. And
when you read down the list, I said first no, when you said bank teller.
Yeah, and then you bank teller plus feminist. Yes.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. And this is a great...
You, sir, are tricking me.
Well, I must admit I made the same bloody mistake when I read this myself. As actually, according to the book, made quite a few experts who would be expected to pick up on this kind of erroneous logic. But here you go. Human mind.
So I'm as good as the experts. That's what I'm getting out of it. That's like how my mind works.
It's lovely how you...
I hear that, like, oh, I might be as good as this expert.
Yeah, I love it how you turn it into a positive.
Come on, life is terrible enough, yeah?
Yeah.
How was it? I don't need sex. Life fucks me enough.
Yeah, okay. That sounds fine.
Sounds about right to me.
You take it up the arse on a daily basis.
Is it now a statement about yourself?
From life, I mean.
Okay. That's nasty.
Yes.
I make jokes and you go... I think we're done with this.
Okay, shall we move on?
We shall. You shall pass.
Another one of these gut rules or instincts is the example rule.
Do you have an example for that?
I do. But basically what this is about is estimating what is more likely by what is more readily available in memory.
Oh, is there again for me to answer?
Sorry, no.
Oh, come on, make it more interactive. I like the list thing. I have to say stuff.
Well, I can... probably it won't have anything as interesting. Well, okay.
Wait.
There he is, his primeval mind taking over.
I like monkeys. By the way, I tried to talk Tia into getting a monkey as a pet. She won't allow it. So this podcast better get us rich and famous so that she can't say anything because she gets her yard with ducks and everything and I get a monkey. I want a monkey. They're adorable.
Nice. Anyway, basically the more easily an example of something can be recalled, the more common it must obviously be. And one of the examples used is, you see a news story about a family that was brutally murdered in their middle-class home in a good neighborhood.
But you still remember, it's a comedy podcast.
Despite the fact that this type of occurrence is also exceedingly rare in your own upper middle-class neighborhood, you decide that the expense of a home security system cannot be put off one more day.
Again, short between cut. It's a comedy podcast. So far we had 9/11, we're gonna all die, it doesn't matter if we drive, walk or fly. Now home invasions with mass murdering activities.
And also you don't even know what Linda does for a living.
Yeah, and that's the worst part.
God damn it.
That's the last time I let you pick a topic.
This is a great topic.
It's about death.
You foolish fool.
You really make your argument there. If you really
I did. This
You
is
foolish fool. So examples.
this is how my mind works.
That's how it works.
It works.
I should never said that ever.
Well, I don't have a funny quiz like the other one for you now, but maybe this will clarify it even more. The same researchers, Kahneman and Tversky, demonstrated the influence...
Tversky?
Works. Yes. Twerk.
Carry on.
Demonstrated the influence of the example rule in a typically elegant way, the book says. First, they asked a group of students to list as many words as they could think of that fit the form blank, 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 in blank. The students had 60 seconds to work on the problem.
Blank, 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 and blank.
Yes. The average number of words they came up with was 2.9. Then another group of students was asked to do the same with the same time limit for words that fit the form blank, 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 ing. This time the average number of words was 6.4.
Wait, blank, 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 ing? Were there 3?
Yeah.
Okay, I like fucking.
Nice.
Well, I wanted to see if because the first one I didn't have the single one, at least there I had one.
Look carefully and it's obvious there's something strange here. The first form is just like the second, except the letters I and G have been dropped. That means any word that fits the second form must fit the first. Therefore, the first form is actually more common, but the second form is much more easily recalled. So when you only have
What kind of sorcery is that book?
This is...
Burn it on a stake. I call witchcraft.
Yeah. This is psychology or witchcraft 101.
No, but it's kind of really funny how little details just can...
Yes, yeah.
Basically trick your mind, because if you really would approach that same thing with really super critical mind,
yes.
You would of course get different results. Mm-hmm. But if you just go honestly into it, like not knowing really what you are up to.
Yes. If you knew that this was now an experiment, then you approach it differently. But if you're just figure out a word that fits this scheme.
Well, but I still got the second phrase.
Still, that's one of the rules, and one more I want to touch upon is the good-bad rule.
Tell me more. Who's been a good and a bad girl? A good and a bad boy?
Yes. When a feeling toward a certain stimulus influences our decision-making regarding that stimulus, i.e. basing a decision on an emotional reaction rather than a calculation of risks and benefits.
So if there's a chance of us getting late, we make stupid cards.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to me.
Quite. Good feelings toward a situation often lead to lower risk perception and higher benefit perception even when it is not logically warranted.
All been there on a drunken night.
Yes, the reverse is also true. An example here is a bit less innocent, such as many people underestimate the dangers of sunbathing because sunbathing is often associated with positive feelings such as relaxation, the beach, vacation.
But not really when you fall asleep, because you partied the night before a lot.
Yes.
I'm not speaking of own... No, but I had actually... It feels so nice.
If you want to go with your nice example of getting laid, then yes, you might think that it's nice.
That was actually not the sunbathing thing.
Okay.
This was actually like for once innocent. I know, I see how you were confused that it was not sexual related. No, but
this is a very special moment for us both.
I think I was somewhere in Greece on the beach, and we were partying the last 2 nights before that quite hard, and drank a lot and had a good time. And then hangover day we laid down on the beach, and it just felt so nice and so relaxing. Even due to our hangover, I fell asleep. Well, then came the middle of the day, like 40 plus degrees, really heavy sun. Me waking up around 2.5 hours after that, and I couldn't wear a shirt, any kind of fabric on my skin for the rest of the holiday. You could really just... I wear like a snake. I just peeled off a really huge layer of my body.
At first you were lobster colored, and then you started peeling off like a snake, man.
No, but it was like you said, it kind of gives you this comforting feeling. Kind of, it was nice, warm, and kind of this... It just gave you a comforting feeling. Even if you know you shouldn't be long in there.
Yeah.
But the brain overrode it.
That's the way the brain works. This is good, this feels good, so it must be good. Nothing bad can happen now.
What could possibly go wrong? Apparently fucking not. Of course you're gonna have at least 57 guys on that holiday that goes like, what, you have a sunburn? And slap you on the back. Where your answer was throwing stuff at them.
That's why I never really sunbathe.
No, it's because you're Finnish and here's no sun.
That too, but even if there were, I'd still stay inside.
No, I only like sun when we go on holiday. No, but continue.
Well, these are really the 3 rules I thought would be good to pick up. These are easy to understand and like that, but the book itself covers a lot more, a multitude of different examples of how these and numerous other rules result in people being afraid of things for no real reason. Well,
how about we maybe touch up on it on other episodes? We can make it kind of reoccurring, working through that book for people that are too lazy to read it, like me.
If you don't want to read this book, then just listen to the next episode as well.
Just mention again the author and the book title, I think. It's
The Science of Fear by Daniel Gardner.
There we go.
Yes. A couple of more points to make. The book also discusses how these gut rules interact with culture, emotion, marketing, group polarization, media coverage, as mentioned before, and other factors that shape our behavior. And still, after all these dark and possibly gloomy examples, the book still ends with a very positive notion that regardless of...
Wait, do you really want to give the end away now?
I'm gonna spoil the book.
You spoiler fabric.
It's not really, a story as such.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless of all forms of scaremongering by the media and irrational fears that people have, there's never really been a better time to be alive when risk is concerned. People today live longer and healthier lives than anyone so regulated before them.
Yeah, that also everything is regulated, healthcare is best.
The rules are for our own benefit, don't you know?
Of course. Or for that we are all raising a bunch of fucking douchebags.
Yeah. Still.
But we're all winners.
Yeah, everybody wins. And The Science of Fear by Daniel Gardner, everyone.
Pick it up, check it out. I would do it too if I would not have so much multimedia entertainment in the moment.
If you only could read.
I told you not to tell it at the public.
And now on to happy things.
Well, about what would be greater, like, hey, technically that could be a segment that we haven't had in a while.
Happy things?
Could it be? Could it be sci-facts?
Oh.
Yeah, so I found that thing, I had to put it in there. I couldn't resist it. So there's a device that you can put on a cockroach, what you can control with your mobile app.
For a split second, I was slightly concerned when you said there's a device that you can put on a cock. I'm so lucky that there was some more to that word.
So weren't there enough penis stuff in the last episode? Are you...
Double the dick.
Yeah. Double the dick caused, withdrawal symptoms. Of too less dick in that episode.
Okay, so a device that you put on a cockroach.
Yeah, and that you can control via mobile app. The company called Backyard Brains will sell this as a DIY kit. So basically, really, you hook it up and then you can control its movements with electronic impulses.
What?
So
You have an RC roach?
Yeah. Basically, you can form a whole fucking army, I bet. I don't know how it is with controlling multiple ones. You can make an army of cockroaches, and let's be honest, that would be quite terrifying.
Yeah.
They're almost indefeatable. If you step on them, like hundreds still gonna spring from it.
Ooh.
They survive atomic wars.
Disgusting. Lucky we don't have cockroaches in Finland.
You don't?
Well, they freeze. We don't really have any.
I don't know, I haven't seen your one.
Well, that's proof enough, isn't it?
I guess
I've never seen a cockroach here in Finland, so they must not... Yeah.
So they must not exist.
No, but they don't really. Apparently the winter is too much. Nuclear world? Nah, the winter... Oh,
no shit.
Fuck. No way.
No, but the weird thing is kind of like, I would love to do that, just to fuck with people. Just like, really write an elaborate program of their movements that they just form.
But that's like...
Like in the old cartoons, where the birds formed an arrow before they attacked somebody and figures and just to implicate what they are planning to do with their formation.
Oh, that's like some fucking cyberpunk shit.
Yeah.
I have this implant for you. And then you just have a radio controller.
But come on,
now make him fall off the table.
I really read that and I had to bring it up because that was so when something fits into sci-fi, in our sci-facts, then this is it.
Definitely. Wow.
Well, I wonder if it was connected to a certain story from Australia, what just surfaced a little while back.
Okay.
So a young man wait, do I have here the link to it? No, I don't have the link to it. I just wrote a top line from it. So Henry Calmer in Australia went to bed and, actually woke up like around 1 o'clock, 2:30, and with severe pain in his ear. And of course, it's Australia, so he was highly worried.
Because everything there is trying to kill you.
Yeah, basically there are 5 billion insects that could kill you instantly within seconds. Well, anything, he tried to get it out of his ear and he couldn't. And the pain got, of course, worse and worse because whatever was in his ear dug deeper in there.
It's kind of sounding like the spider boil thing, but...
No, it's not spiders. I can tell that now already.
But you know of the spider boil.
Yeah, don't touch that, no.
You don't like the idea of spiders hatching out of your face?
Yeah, not really. Not one of my favorite fantasies at all.
Okay.
No, spiders, I think, are kind of not as high ranked as my most hated animal. What I'm afraid of and fucking freaked out. We should touch on that next episode, by the way.
Okay. Continue on the topic of fear.
Yeah, oh my god, I fucking hate that bastard so much. Oh my... I don't tell yet what animal it is, but when we encounter them, everybody's on its own. It doesn't matter if it's you or my girlfriend. Everybody's on its own. But we touch on this next time.
Okay, go on about the
Australian, yeah.
Yes.
It's so easy to just stumble over that.
Even so he was actually from Australia this time. Not next to Switzerland.
No, Australia.
Yes.
Henrik Dahmer then went to the hospital where they tried to get whatever's in there out, what caused it, like this olive oil and all these little tricks, and it caused it to dig even deeper in.
How much deeper can it go before it's in?
Well, that animal, what was in there, apparently died, and in his last dying moment, caused even more severe pain to Henrik.
How?
Well, last dying moments trying to fight for his fucking life.
Right.
Then they pulled it out with a fucking pincetta.
Tweezers?
Yeah, tweezers. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I just can't remember the English words for this. With tweezers, and it turned out to be a 2 centimeter or 1 inch long cockroach.
In his ear.
2 centimeters, for fuck's sake. That's not even small. They didn't show a picture if he was some kind of Dumbo big-eared dude. But how can it, and crawling and biting in there.
I can't even stick my finger up my nose that far.
No, doesn't work.
No,
just try it. Doesn't work.
That was 1.5 centimeters.
By the way, that hurt. No, but that was apparently the biggest what they fished out of a human ear, what I heard. But isn't it just pure nastiness?
Well, let's never go to Australia.
I do want to go there, but it's kind of really frightening me a lot.
Bomb the site from orbit. Nuke it from orbit.
Yeah, fucking nuke it.
It's the only way to be sure.
You think there are so many deadly animals because there were so many convicts? Come on, it was just a convict colony.
Yeah, I know, but how do you think that these two connect?
That they dropped them, scientists developed them, and the government put them there to secretly kill them without that they officially kill them, what would damage their reputation. It's the government's fault.
All right.
By the way, that was not pre-planned. That was just
I'm sure there is a conspiracy theory to go along with
There's
this
a conspiracy
line of
theory
thought.
with everything. Yeah. So, but on this high note, I think we're gonna call it a night for our second episode. I mean, next time we look forward to my most hated beast in the animal kingdom. What needs to be fucking eradicated and it just need to be dead, basically.
Okay.
And
I'll prepare with my own
and
hate animal.
Yeah, but we're also going to touch maybe on some other animals like dolphins.
Okay.
Maybe some pasta.
Yeah, right, yes, obviously.
And still a story I want to tell you, but I think it doesn't fit now anymore. The atomic veggie. News story.
Okay. It does give me an idea, but it's probably not going to be the thing I imagine.
For sure not. I can promise you that. So there are many things to look forward to for next week's episode of We Are Not Here to Please You.
Indeed.
So have a good day.
Bye-bye.
I'm Nolan Overton.
I'm Brandon Stedham.
And we're the No BS Podcast,
where you can come listen to our comedic, informational, entertainment podcasts.
every week on iTunes. Or
And
our website at...
We do have a website?
Yes.
www.nobspodcast.com.
Thanks, and I hope you'll join us. Ciao.